From a president who gambled away the White House china to one who secretly sold weapons to an enemy nation, this is every US president's biggest scandal explained. And honestly, some of these make modern politics look tame. George Washington's scandal was the Whiskey Rebellion tax itself. The man who fought a revolution over unfair taxation turned around and slapped a tax on whiskey that crushed small farmers. When they revolted, Washington rode out with 13,000 troops to shut it down. The guy who hated taxes became the tax man. Ironic, sir. John Adams signed the Alien and Sedition Acts, making it a crime to criticize the government. The president who helped write the rules of American freedom made it illegal to use that freedom. Not a great look for a founding father. Thomas Jefferson's scandal was Sally Hemings. He fathered children with an enslaved woman while writing that all men are created equal. He denied it publicly for the rest of his life. DNA confirmed the truth in 1998. 200 years of lying, exposed by science. James Madison's presidency was so scandal-free that the closest thing he had was letting the British burn down the White House. Not a scandal exactly, but definitely embarrassing. Sir, you had one job. James Monroe had the furniture scandal. He used government funds to redecorate the White House with expensive French furniture, and Congress went ballistic. The man nearly got impeached over curtains. John Quincy Adams allegedly won the presidency through the corrupt bargain of 1824. Andrew Jackson won the popular vote, but Adams cut a deal with Henry Clay, who swung the House vote to Adams and then magically became Secretary of State. Jackson never forgave either of them. Andrew Jackson's scandal was the petticoat affair. His entire cabinet nearly collapsed because Washington's socialites refused to associate with Peggy Eaton, the wife of Jackson's Secretary of War, over rumors about her personal life. Jackson went to war over it and half his cabinet resigned, a presidency almost destroyed by gossip. Martin Van Buren's scandal was the gold spoon oration, where a congressman accused him of eating off gold plates and living like a king while Americans starved during the Panic of 1837. Whether the gold spoons were real is debated. The political damage was not. William Henry Harrison died before he could have a scandal. John Tyler was expelled from his own party while president. The Whigs literally disowned him. His entire cabinet resigned in a single day except one guy. Tyler was a president with no party, no allies, and no support. That's not a scandal, that's a political orphan. James Polk secretly started a war with Mexico by sending troops into disputed territory until Mexico fired first, then told Congress that Mexico had invaded American soil. Abraham Lincoln called him out for it. Zachary Taylor's scandal was dying. Conspiracy theorists spent 140 years convinced he was poisoned. They dug up his body in 1991 to test it. He wasn't poisoned, just bad cherries. Millard Fillmore signed the Fugitive Slave Act, forcing free state citizens to hunt down escaped slaves. Franklin Pierce's Kansas-Nebraska Act triggered Bleeding Kansas. James Buchanan did nothing while the country fell apart. These three basically passed the scandal baton straight into the Civil War. Abraham Lincoln suspended habeas corpus during the Civil War, allowing the military to arrest and detain citizens without trial. Over 13,000 people were locked up. It was arguably necessary to save the Union, but it was also arguably the biggest violation of civil liberties by any president in history. Andrew Johnson's scandal was impeachment. He survived removal by one single vote. Ulysses S. Grant's administration was riddled with corruption. The whiskey ring alone saw government officials steal millions in tax revenue. Grant wasn't personally corrupt, but he trusted the wrong people, which is almost worse. You can forgive a crook, it's harder to forgive a fool. Rutherford Hayes stole the presidency through the Compromise of 1877, trading the rights of Black Americans for the Oval Office. James Garfield was tied to the Credit Mobilier railroad bribery scandal. Chester Arthur surprised everyone by actually cleaning up corruption instead of adding to it. Grover Cleveland fathered a child out of wedlock, and his opponents chanted, "Ma, Ma, where's my pa?" at every rally. He admitted to it and won anyway. Different era. Benjamin Harrison's scandal was voter fraud in Indiana that helped him win. William McKinley was bought and paid for by corporate donors. Teddy Roosevelt's biggest controversy was inviting Booker T. Washington to dinner at the White House. The South lost its mind over a black man eating with the president. The scandal says more about America than it does about Roosevelt. William Howard Taft fired Gifford Pinchot, Roosevelt's beloved conservation chief, and Teddy was so furious he ran against Taft in the next election and destroyed his presidency. Woodrow Wilson resegregated the federal workforce, rolling back decades of progress for black government employees. He screened Birth of a Nation in the White House, the KKK recruitment film. Warren Harding's Teapot Dome scandal saw his Interior Secretary secretly leasing federal oil reserves for bribes. His Veterans Bureau chief embezzled millions meant for wounded soldiers, and Harding himself was gambling away White House china during poker nights while drinking illegally during Prohibition. This guy was a walking scandal factory. I don't even know where to start. Calvin Coolidge's scandal was doing nothing. The economy was overheating and he just let it ride straight into the Great Depression. Herbert Hoover sent the army against World War I veterans who were peacefully protesting for their bonus pay. Tanks and tear gas against American heroes. Career over. Franklin Roosevelt tried to pack the Supreme Court by adding extra justices loyal to him when the court kept blocking his New Deal. Congress shut it down. Even FDR's own party said that was too far. Harry Truman fired General Douglas MacArthur during the Korean War, and the public was furious. MacArthur was more popular than the president. Eisenhower's scandal was the U-2 spy plane. He told the world it was a weather plane. The Soviets produced the living pilot. Ike was caught lying to the entire planet. JFK's scandals were his affairs. Everybody knew, nobody said anything. That's how the 1960s worked. LBJ escalated Vietnam based on the Gulf of Tonkin incident, which probably never happened. Nixon had Watergate, the granddaddy of all presidential scandals. He bugged his opponents, covered it up, and became the only president to resign. Ford pardoned Nixon, and the country never forgave him. Jimmy Carter had the Iran hostage crisis, 444 days of humiliation. Ronald Reagan had Iran-Contra. His administration secretly sold weapons to Iran and funneled the money to Nicaraguan rebels. 14 officials were indicted. Reagan said he didn't know. George H.W. Bush pardoned Iran-Contra figures on Christmas Eve to bury the story. Bill Clinton was impeached for lying about Monica Lewinsky. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. He did. George W. Bush invaded Iraq over weapons of mass destruction that didn't exist. Trillions of dollars and thousands of American lives lost over bad intelligence. Barack Obama's NSA surveillance program collected phone data on millions of Americans without their knowledge. Edward Snowden blew the whistle and fled the country. Donald Trump was impeached twice, once for pressuring Ukraine and once for the events of January 6th. And Joe Biden's Afghanistan withdrawal saw 13 American service members killed in a suicide bombing during the chaotic evacuation from Kabul. So there you have it. From gold spoons to Watergate to weapons deals with enemy nations, every president had a scandal that defined or destroyed them. Some survived, some didn't, and the ones who got away with it just got better at hiding things. Thank you for watching. If you want to keep going, the next video on your screen is one you won't want to miss. I'll see you there.